Hi everyone, it's me, Colleen. Happy Halloween. I hope that you like this costume. This is Lisa Frank, the rainbow leopard. So that's what I'm going for here. Hope you guys get it. So Scorpio season, here we go. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. And I hope that you guys like the editing that I'm doing now. I'm starting with this specific video. I'm going to start clipping out the parts that drag on, so we're just going to get through a lot more smoothly. So definitely stay tuned in and watch the whole thing, because I promise you, you're not going to be watching me shuffle. You're not going to be watching the long pauses where I'm trying to download messages, which I tried to avoid in the past, but you know, sometimes there's gaps, but in this one there will not be. Okay, so this reading is for all signs for Scorpio season. This is for the season of Scorpio for all signs. And Scorpio season is from October 22nd until November 21st. I have 4 cards here that we're going to talk about, and I have some clarifying cards as well and some oracle cards. Okay, we have the Page of Pentacles in reverse. We have the Knight of Cups in reverse. We have the Three of Cups in reverse. And then we have the Sun upright. So that's a really good sign here. It feels like we have the way that this season pans out for us is totally dependent on how in tune and in alignment we are with ourselves. So we could start this whole season. It feels like this season is testing us to stay in the joy, Otherwise, we're going to feel like we're completely lost. Like the first, I guess, 3 weeks of this season is going to feel like things are upside down. But also those are the areas that we need to be placing our focus so that we can take care of these things now, so that towards the end of the season, we will all come together in joy. So this is great because I just said my little prediction thing that I'm not really sure if I'm gonna share in this or I'm gonna wait until after the election, but there is a celebration coming towards the end of the season, and also this is right around when we start getting into Thanksgiving and you know, all of that. So there's a coming together and a connection occurring. But the first 3 weeks, I guess you could say, 3/4 of this season feels a little interesting to me. Let me get some clarifying cards here. I want to talk about the Page of Pentacles, please. So it feels like the first week of this season we are overcoming our fears of the unknown. We are working on overcoming our fears of the unknown by trusting and moving forward, trusting and taking action. So this is interesting because I feel like there's a lack of, there's a desire to want to wait on moving forward with things. There's a desire to want to hold back out of fear of overdoing it, out of fear of not knowing where it's going to take us. So the key to overcoming that desire to procrastinate and hesitate on continuing on our journey is by nurturing ourselves while we are facing our fears. So we have to work on creating a support system for ourselves now so that as we continue through this season, we can refer back to it when we are hitting walls that are challenging our fears, that are challenging us to face our fears. So that would be therapy, or having a person that you can confide in, having someone lined up that you are able to go to seek advice, and make sure it's somebody that has the emotional capacity to handle it. So be diligent in, choosing who that person's going to be. I highly recommend just going for a therapist, but if that's not possible, sometimes that's not possible for everyone, just start to think, as I'm talking about this, who's the person that you can trust, and whose advice you value, and who you go to for support, that also be aware of how much you're putting on them, because this year has been challenging for all of us. But either way, so we're overcoming our fears by supporting ourselves as we move forward. So the message here is you must make steps forward. If you find yourself taking too many pauses or hesitations, or taking steps back, is because you're at a place where you have to face something that you are fearing, and we need to work through that. It's really important. I feel like there's a lot of tests this season, so that it's like a test to see if we've learned anything this year after everything that we've all gone through, everything that we've witnessed, and the lessons that we've been forced to learn. Like, it's time to put them into action, is what it feels like is happening right now. And it feels very much like we're going to reap some of those rewards by the end of this season, or at least feel in a much healthier place, I'm hearing state of mind, a healthier routine. We're in a place where we feel like we're coming back to ourselves. So we have to push through these challenges. It's like an obstacle course this season, and it's very condensed because it's only within the course of about 30 days or so. So just keep this in mind when you're hitting walls. It's because there's something that you need to push through, and making sure that you have some support resources available for you, healthy support systems, whether that's going to the park, getting outside, going to the beach, going on a hike, making sure that you are bringing in healthy foods so that your body is clear as you go through this, because the more junk that we eat, the lower our vibrations get, and it makes it more difficult for us to move forward, and it's okay to eat the cake and all that fun stuff, but when you can, try to incorporate fruits and vegetables, and drink lots of water. Also, okay, so moving into the second week, we have the Knight of Cups in reverse. And this is testing. Okay, so it feels like the first week is testing our fears around just moving forward in our lives, or fears around money, or fears around our career, our work life, our health. Knight of Cups reversed feels like the second week, or around that time, the first half of this season. It feels like this is when we are being challenged in our relationships. It's time to take a look at this now. Any areas of our relationships with, significant others, family members, friends, people that are close to us, anything that needs to be addressed is going to be coming up to be addressed. So just keep that in mind as well. Let me see what clarifying cards are coming up for Knight of Cups. This feels more like really close relationships with our children, with our parents, or with our lovers, partners, significant others. Also, I feel like with the Knight of Cups, this feels like a time where we need to turn off the social media, stop doing the comparison thing, comparing our relationship to other people's relationships, because there's a lot of jealousy and, coming up here. Okay. The things that have been coming up this year when it comes to relationships, it's time to put in that work. Like whatever has come up this year for you that needs a little bit more attention in terms of relationships is coming up to be addressed, to put those lessons into action. It feels like this is when you're really putting in the work into these areas of your life. So action, that it feels like action is the key word for this season. If you're feeling distant from the people you care about, like emotionally, mentally, aren't connecting with the people that matter most to you, this is the time to make an effort to get reconnected. Stop expecting the other person to do all the work. This is your life. This is your lesson to be learned in making more of an effort where it counts. Then we have the Three of Cups in reverse. This feels more like your connection in your friendships and your community, and that connection there. So this is a message that's been coming up a lot since mid-October, is this message around connection, creating connection again, creating community, or unifying rather than separating. So let me see what comes up for Three of Cups reversed. Feelings around like you're not worthy, like you don't deserve to have good people in your life. If you've been having falling outs with different people in your life, I would take a look at your self-worth and your self-esteem and see if the issues that are occurring are more of an issue that's going on within yourself rather than something that they have going on. Is this more about you than it is about them? Let's take a look at that and see what's going on there. This also, there's a full moon on here, so it feels like this is going to be something that comes up around the October 31st full moon, or it could be towards, the third week, by mid-November, maybe. I'm hearing issues around loss. So this can be issues around the people that you've pulled away from because of differences in beliefs or differences in how you see the world. And, that's good to a certain extent, but also it's important to learn and grow from each other rather than push people away. So I feel like this is a big message that's coming up here. I also feel like I want to pull an oracle card for this card. What's the Three of Cups in reverse talking about? I'm feeling a lot of tightness in my throat, so I feel like a lot of issues around speaking our truth around people that we care about most. It could be feeling like my voice doesn't matter. This is actually also around when Mars goes direct again. Yeah, is it Mars? Yeah. Around November 13th it goes direct. So resolving any issues that may have come up during Mars retrograde could be coming up here. Let me see. This is crazy. This card keeps coming up over and over and over in this deck. It's really interesting, and I shuffled like crazy, and I just decided to pick one out of the deck instead of wait for one to jump out. And this is the one that I just chose. Breathe in. It's a lot worse in your head than it is in reality. So keep that in mind, especially as we get towards the end of the season. It's important for you to speak up with your friends, with the people that matter most to you. It's important to speak up for the purpose of unifying and creating connection rather than separating and isolating. I feel like isolation time is over. I feel like this is about making healthy steps in reconnecting with the people that matter most to you. I am not saying to stop wearing masks. I'm not saying to, stop social distancing, but I'm just saying there's ways to connect while also being cautious instead of hiding inside all the time. If this is something that you've been doing this year, which I 100% completely understand. But this season feels like we are on our path. We are on a path to a place that's more colorful. It's like, I guess you could say it's kind of like Wizard of Oz, where everything was black and white. And, very black and white this entire year. And it feels like Scorpio season is challenging us to push through to bring out the Technicolor, if that makes sense. I don't know if it does, but that's just something that came up. And also, I feel like that's why I wanted to do something super colorful this season to remind us of the silliness and the fun and, who we were as kids, bringing out the playful child within us all. I feel like that's where we should be placing our focus this season, and that's how you get out of your own way so that we can move forward in healthy ways. I feel like this is a season of making leaps in our healing process, leaps in our personal evolutions and growth. The last little bit of what needs to be worked through and left behind is coming up right now. It's like an intensive healing. So this is a time of trusting our own intuition more than ever before. Listening to your gut is so vitally important this season, rather than listening to your head, so that we can get to this fun place where we are in the flow again. So it's like speed bump, speed bump, only if we allow it to be. It's important our attitude and perspective on the challenges that are coming up for us to deal with. It's up to us how we react, how we move forward, because the universe is definitely getting us to getting more movement into this season. Let me see if there's anything else that's coming up. So yeah, the end of the season feels fantastic. Very celebratory. Nine of Pentacles in reverse. That's interesting because that is also, oh, it's not anymore. It was at the bottom of the deck. I guess I shuffled it a little bit. It was at the bottom of the deck earlier. Things are going really well right now for us, but it's not the time to stop. Just because we got back into the flow and we're feeling really good does not mean that we should be slowing our pace down. Does not mean that we should be counting our chickens before they hatch, is what I'm hearing. This is not a time to count the chickens before they hatch. We're almost there. Whatever goals it is that you've been trying to reach, it feels like you've made some major leaps and bounds here, but it's not like you've hit the finish line yet. So this is a time of tying up loose ends, definitely during Mercury retrograde. And let me just make sure Mercury's still in retrograde so I'm not sounding like an idiot. Oh, October 14th through November 3rd is Mercury retrograde. So we're out of Mercury retrograde, so things start to become a lot more clearer for a lot of us. And a lot of us feel like we're getting back in the flow. So Mercury retrograde likes to, all of the retrogrades are like, okay, let's redo this. Let's reevaluate this. Let's get back to those old projects that we were working on and we put on hold. And I feel like that's what all of these old projects are, or that's what all of these are. Well, the old projects that we were working on, and then life got in the way and we put them aside. So, things with your career, with your finances, maybe you were trying to make some adjustments or set new goals in this area, and then it got backburnered throughout the year, which, for all of these things, it makes perfect sense. Maybe you were working on, strengthening your relationships and then life got in the way. Maybe you were doing the same thing with your friends, with your plans, with getting into a more connected routine with the people around you, maybe you had lots of plans to, visit this person and that person and have fun here and have fun there, and it got all on pause because of this year. It feels like this is the time where we are taking a look at these areas again and finishing up what we started in these areas, or at least getting close to finishing up what we've started, or just get back into it. I hope that makes sense. So let me pull another card for this entire theme, the theme of this season overall. Crystal Visions. Let's take a look at the card. This is the Wilderness Collide Oracle deck. A light path is opening up before you, and it is asking for you to come a ways with it. On this path resides a new vision eager for the taking. But first, remember to honor the old vision and acknowledge that its time is now passing. Each vision serves us diligently in the season where it was born, even though it may not walk with us as far as we first imagined. Practice today being as grateful for the old as you are for the new, for both are needed. It feels like we need to get ready for some more forward movement in a positive direction as we get reconnected with ourselves and get more in alignment and get more in tune with our intuition and trusting ourselves again is the direction that we're going in. I hope that makes sense for all of you. I hope that you enjoyed this costume because it took me forever to do. But I wanted to bring this childlike energy out because this is what we need right now. We need to remember who we were as we move forward into who we're becoming. And in between all of that, we need to be having fun again. We need to be embracing the silliness of life. So there you go. Thank you so much for watching this reading. Please like, share, and subscribe. Please follow me on Instagram, Arcana Rising. That name is going to change soon, so check the info below if you're watching this a few months later. And that's all I got for you guys. I love you so much. Take care. Love you. Bye-bye.